All right. So again, my name is Jessica. I also have a couple of my colleagues here if they want to introduce themselves real quickly.
Hi, everyone. I'm Carrie Lane, a project specialist with the EdTech team, and here to support if you have any questions in the chat.
And we also have our amazing uh, admin assistant Sandra in the room as well. That she'll be hanging out, helping us with any tech issues. Again, the slides we'll share with you at the end, and we also have a website and a YouTube playlist, as well as a calendar of events for you to keep on top of all the things that we're doing. All right, so a couple things that are coming up. We've got our March 13th, tomorrow, Back to Basics. We've done all of the Google Suite at this point, so we are moving on to Bitmojis and your Bitmoji classroom and how you can leverage that in your classroom. Then next we have April 5th, we have the Ivy Red Eye competition. So we're sponsoring this category of 360 videos for the Ivy. If you're interested, you can click the link to register and we'll have some information about that. April 9th, Carrie will be hosting the Accessibility Network. This month's theme is the future, envisioning designing for accessibility. And that will be virtual as well. And then we have a major event coming up in August that we just pushed out today. So we have a Learning and Innovation Summit that'll be happening at the SDCOE main campus. You can register now and you can pay ahead, use up those funds for this school year before they expire. And we also have a call for presenters. So if you're interested in presenting, click that link. And we're super excited to be hosting. This is our first one. All right, so in this session, I'm just going to briefly go through kind of like a drones 101. We have our guest speaker in the room, Elena Buenrostro, with Girls Who Drone and Women Who Drone. So she'll be speaking to us about her program and her experience in the industry. And then we'll wrap up with some ways that drones can have an impact in education. All right, so what are drones? Chances are, if you're here, you probably have an idea of like the basics, what they are, but just in case, a drone, also known as an unmanned aerial vehicle, a UAV, is basically an aircraft without any human pilot or passengers on board. There are a range of drone options within that framework. So anything from the co-drone on the left, which is built for education, it runs about $200 each, all the way up to commercial professional drones, which you see on the right, which can average, $3,000 or more, depending on the high technology that it uses for those projects. And there's a ton of in between there. So why are we curious about drones as the ed tech department? It is a burgeoning career field. So the statistics show that there's 100,000 or more new jobs that they're anticipating by 2025. And also it's pretty lucrative. So pilots can earn between 85,000 and 115,000 per year. So this is a field that we're really interested in for our students, for our families that are looking for jobs, as something new and innovative. It is also something that universities are catching on to. So there are universities around the country that are now offering bachelor degrees on UAVs and piloting, including our Palomar College, our local Palomar College. But also degrees are not required. So there is a certification process and some licensing that you'll have to go through. But 3 of our community colleges are now offering certification programs that are much quicker than a traditional bachelor's program, and can get you started. So MiraCosta, Grossmont, and Southwestern are offering certification programs, while Palomar offers a full-on bachelor's, as well as certifications. It's also one of those non-traditional career paths that we're always looking for our students that may not be interested in going to 4 more years of school. It can offer an outdoor lifestyle, an active lifestyle. It can offer a flexible schedule, a lot of choice on how you want to work. So we're always interested in those non-traditional career pathways. And there's a wide range of career options within the drone industry. So I put some videos on here just to give you an idea. This is something that was new to me when I started exploring it, and we were really fascinated with like the range of jobs you could get. So on this slide, you can see drones being used for land management and scientific and environmental research with some data collection that goes with that. So think hard to reach places, dangerous to reach places, that you don't necessarily want to go physically. You can go with a drone. Vantage points that you may not get from the surface level. This is, I believe, Del Mar, where a drone captured some surfers with some great white sharks around them that they had no idea were around them. Just a different perspective that you can get from the sky. Also, things like parcel delivery and even like warehouse management systems. So Amazon's using drones within their warehouses now to, manage things around the warehouse. And many of us have heard that they anticipate trying to use them in delivery in a broader sense, like to your doorstep. So those are also an option too, as well as surveillance. And then, of course, photography and videography. So this video is a local outpost, like vacation rentals, and they have a restaurant, and they do a lot of videography up in Mount Laguna of their property, trying to advertise and get people to come visit. Also, if you've bought a house in the last like 5 to 10 years, you've probably seen those drone shots that they have that can really boost sales for real estate. All right. And then, so now I'm going to turn it over to Elena, who's got some real world experience that she can share with us. And I will stop sharing.
Thank you so much, Jessica. Hi, everybody. I'm Elena. Let me just get my presentation set up over here. I think this might be it. Okay. So I'm going to present. Can you all see that?
Yep.
Okay, great. Thanks. I can't see you, so thanks for the verbal confirmation. All right. So hi, everybody. First off, thank you so much for having me. I'm Elena, the founder of Women Who Drone. Today, I'm going to go over, I'm going to share a bit more about myself, as well as Women Who Drone and how we got started. Hopefully, by the time we are finished, you're inspired to pick up a drone if you haven't already done so. But before we dive in, let me just share a little bit more about myself. So as I mentioned, I am the founder of Women Who Drone. I'm also a licensed drone pilot, a marketer at Google, and a content creator. I got my start in drone piloting back in April of 2017. And really it was out of the need to go hike the Great Wall of China. I have a background in content production. I wore every hat as a video professional, and I've always wanted to hike the Great Wall ever since I was a little girl. Around the time I decided to go off and do it, it was my first solo trip. I knew I wanted to document this experience, but I wasn't too sure how I was going to do that. So I did some research and I came across drone technology at the time, and I decided to buy my first drone. And I headed to the Great Wall and captured a lot of really incredible shots. When I did that, I realized that I now had wings for my passion, which was content storytelling. And since 2017, I have been truly fascinated with flying drones and capturing the world in a whole different way. And here's just a glimpse at what that looks like. After that trip to the Great Wall, I kept flying. This is actually a shot in Thailand. It actually made me become more of a traveler because I was just curious different areas I could capture more content with my drone. I've captured in all different types of places, content in all different types of places, including islands and beaches, deserts and mountains, tropical and lush landscapes. And this is one of my favorite shots, actually, out in Hawaii. But it wasn't until October of 2017. So, I did a lot of traveling then. But when I started to settle down, I moved to New York City. And I realized I could actually make a living and get paid by flying my drone and capturing content for people in a lot of the ways that Jessica was talking about, whether it's real estate, content production, but I really truly found a niche with education. A little bit of context, I have taught at different schools previously, but it was more filmmaking. So for a time, I was teaching Girl Scouts how to make films and how to story tell with cameras. And then full circle, it came back to drone education. So I started giving workshops and drone lessons out in New York City. And they first started off as just 1 hour Airbnb experiences, which then turned into weekend workshops teaching people how to fly drones. And then that turned into partnering with schools out in New York City and bringing drone curriculum to the classrooms. So during this time, I became well acquainted with the New York City drone community, and I learned, mostly because a lot of women were reaching out to me, that there were very, very few women in the industry. At the time, it was less than 3.9% of certified drone pilots in the US were women. Now that number has moved up to about 7.8, so the needle is moving slowly, but there's still more work to be done. As I mentioned, it's gone up. That's it's actually 7.8, so I have to update that. But this really sparked more reason to have a conversation about this. But at the time, I was thinking, well, I can't possibly be the one with all the answers, with all of these people asking me questions about how they how can they get started? What are some drones that they could purchase? I was getting a lot of DMs on Instagram, quite honestly, about how a lot of women around the world could get started. So I started a community, and that's when I started Women Who Drone, which is an online community that inspires, educates, and empowers women and girls with drone technology. And we are doing this in a number of ways. First, we like to inspire our students and also the community with storytelling. We have a number of women who are around the world who are capturing content with drones, and they're also using drones for different use cases. So we got started on no other than social media. We started with a hashtag. We asked people to tag us when they would post their content, and soon we started to gather and recognize that there were a lot of women out there flying drones. We just didn't really know how to connect with each other. Soon after that, we started a Facebook group community. We have about 3,000 members around the world, and it is the largest female drone piloting community, with women connecting on a daily basis, sharing their stories, tips and tricks, jobs, and just different various use cases that they are using their drones for. So I am a true believer in you cannot be what you cannot see. And my passion really lies in storytelling. So one thing that we started to do from the get-go was tell the stories of different women around the world. And we've done that with our pilot spotlights, which live on our YouTube channel. And we post content daily on our social channels, highlighting a new female drone pilot every day. That then moved into drone education. As I mentioned earlier, we've done one-on-one lessons, weekend workshops. We've gone to universities and schools. We do an annual Youth in STEM workshop at Columbia University every year in New York City. And we also kicked off online courses when the pandemic hit. So we were still able to provide educational options when we couldn't actually meet up with people in person. And then, of course, we want to empower our community. And some of the ways that we're doing that is we have a job board that our certified drone pilots could sign up for and get connected with some of the companies that we've partnered with. We also like to empower them with a partnership that we had with Getty Images for drone pilots that want to actually monetize the drone content that they're capturing. They could sign up to be a Women Who Drone Getty Images contributor. So they'll be able to license their content through that partnership and make some passive income through the licensing of their drone videos and drone photos. And we are also offering drone certification preparation with our online course that actually launched earlier this year. So again, as I mentioned, I'm a big fan, and my passion really lies in storytelling. So I'm going to show a couple of videos to sort of just share with you what that looks like. I'm going to press play, and if someone could just tell me that they could hear it, that will be great. Oops. I think I have to. No.
And I don't know if you need to go into like full screen mode because it's still like we can see
Are we
your
not in
other
full screen
slides.
mode? Oh, okay. There we go. Is that full screen mode?
It still looks the same to me.
Okay.
Same here.
Okay, sorry guys.
No worries.
Oh, maybe that? Is that full screen? Not quite.
Close. It looked like full screen, but it kind of made the notes bigger.
Oh no, you can see the notes?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay, so maybe I have to press this. Let me just try to go here. Oh, present full screen. How's that?
Perfect. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, sorry. Okay, here we go.
Just when you think you've seen something, you really haven't seen it at all. Since I was a little girl, I've always imagined visiting the Great Wall of China. On my 28th birthday, I decided to buy a flight and travel there solo. The freedom I felt traveling alone reminded me that I can do anything, and everyone around you can be a part of your experience. Since then, traveling off the beaten path and being integrated with the people and culture has taught me how important it is to find what's truly natural to this planet, to humans, and to our existence. When I discovered I could document my journey with a whole new perspective, I fell in love. Now, I have wings for my passion. I have a newfound freedom to match my changing perspective. As a media artist, I love everything about video. The storytelling, shooting, editing, but mostly enabling people to relive precious moments. 26 cities and 10 countries later, I never envisioned myself documenting my journey with an eye in the sky. The freedom, the empowerment, and the adrenaline I experience is incredible. Over desolate mountains and beautiful islands, to vast oceans and vibrant cities. I have managed to view the world with a whole new perspective. Something that started off as a curiosity turned into a hobby, and now a passion. Always remember, the universe is doing what's best for you. If there's one thing I've learned over the years, it is to collect experiences and not things. To look back and see how much you've grown. To be proud of yourself. To be you. To keep growing, and most of all, keep going. I'm Elena, and this is my story.
Do we have time for one more video?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Just want to make sure. Okay. Hopefully I can get out of that. I'll have to go. Full screen.
I started flying drones late of 2015. My fascination of the ocean from above is what really intrigued me in the first place. Seeing this whole new perspective is what really fueled my passion. One of my all-time favorite drone experiences would be when flying my drone in the Seychelles. I personally love to shoot coastlines and anything that screams out tropical paradise, and this place sure exceeded my expectations. It took my droning experience to a whole new level that some of my greatest drone work were taken from here, and ones that still render me speechless to this day. My best piece of advice would be to do it for the love of it and not for anything else. You can only become truly accomplished at anything if you truly love what you do and believe in yourself. Focus on mastering your craft and becoming better at it every single day. Being a woman who drones for me really is all about following our dreams as creatives and empowering other women along the way to follow theirs. My name is Mare Watson. I'm an aerial photographer and visual artist. Life is short, go explore and create magic.
All right, and then I'm just gonna skip a little forward to just a few things to know. And Jessica, maybe you will go over this too, but I can briefly just go over the difference between a commercial pilot and a hobbyist. For those who don't know, a commercial pilot requires a Part 107 certification, so you would pass a test through the FAA. That test is about $200, and you have to pass it with a 70%. You can, once you have this certification, you'll be able to legally receive compensation for any drone service, including all of the ones that Jessica had mentioned earlier. You can fly over 400 feet for some projects if needed, like building inspections that require you to go above 400 feet. And then you can also apply for special waivers. Now, anyone without a commercial pilot would be considered a hobbyist. So that means you don't have a certification. You can still buy a drone and fly it, but you need to make sure that you are abiding by all of the FAA rules and regulations, just as a commercial pilot would be doing as well. But the main difference is you wouldn't be able to legally receive compensation for any of your content or the work that you, or any sort of drone piloting gig. And then just the basic rules, and these typically are applicable globally. It does change from country to country, but at least for the US, this is the rules for drone piloting. All drones over 0.55 grams must be registered with the FAA. You can do that through the FAA website. It does cost $5 per drone to register. You always want to fly your drone within visual line of sight. So what that means is when you are flying, you should be able to see your drone in the sky at all times. If it's too far and you can't see it, then you're not following this rule. Again, you cannot fly over 400 feet, and that's more because of you start entering helicopter airspace. I always get the question of why 400 feet? It's because that's where we start entering that airspace. And then never fly within a 5-mile radius of an airport for obvious reasons. We don't ever want to affect manned aircraft. And then definitely cannot fly over people unless you have a waiver, which you can apply for so long as you have your commercial drone pilot license. And then you cannot fly at night unless you have a waiver. And again, you can only obtain waivers if you are a licensed drone pilot. And I think that is all I have for you. So I'm happy to answer any questions, or I can also pass it back over to you, Jessica.
Well, I think we did have a few questions in the chat. Let me see. Zerla asked if when you travel in the US and international, do you pack your drone in a regular suitcase? Are there special permits required to carry it?
That is a great question. So For those who go to the airport, you probably, when you're checking in, they ask if you have any lithium batteries. So that's the big thing about your drones is they do come with lithium batteries. So I always travel with my drone in my backpack, along with my lithium batteries, just because you cannot check those. And also my drone's really expensive, so I don't like to put it inside of the checked bag anyway. But yes, you can fly with no problem with a drone. There have been times where sometimes the TSA will look and just confirm, okay, what is that? And they see that it's a drone. It's completely fine, just as long as you're not checking those lithium batteries in your checked bag.
Good to know. And then she also asked, do you have to be 20/20 vision for a commercial drone pilot?
That's a great question. I don't believe you do, because actually, funny enough, is there's no practical when you actually take your drone licensing exam. It's only the exam, the written exam. So they don't have you actually go fly a drone or take an eye exam, just as long as you are able to have visual line of sight. So that would be the requirement. It is a little bit different if you were getting your private pilot license, for example. They do require you to have, I don't know if it's 20/20 vision, but they do have a requirement around vision.
Yeah, interesting question. Thanks, Zerla. Any other questions for Elena? And she left out a really important part that she was a local girl or is a local girl again, right?
So funny. I always forget to say that because I'm like always talking to different
Yeah.
places. Yes, actually, I was born and raised in San Diego. I graduated from Castle Park High School, so I am a alumni of the San Diego Sweetwater Union High School District. So I don't know if there's anybody on this call from there, but yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I always forget to bring it, and Matthew's always like grilling me for that. So appreciate the reminder.
Yeah, we were like super excited. Oh my gosh, she's from San Diego too. This is
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
So yeah,
Um,
really inspiring story. And definitely if you're using drones or if you're going to be using drones with your students, I suggest looking through her YouTube because yeah, at one point we weren't sure if the scheduling would work out. And so I had like a couple of those videos that I was like, oh, these are
Yay.
great. So I was just going to play those if you weren't able to join us. But it's
Awesome.
always great to have you in person.
Yes, yes. I thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. I always love telling the stories of other women as well as how we got started and inspiring others. And I'm sorry my notes were showing at the beginning.
Oh, no worries.
Like I was like, usually I have like both screens in my whole desk, but I'm actually in Arizona right now, so I only have my small laptop.
Oh,
So
yeah.
appreciate the patience over here.
And Zoom is always changing, so it's always
Yeah,
tricky.
yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go
But
back
thank you so
to
much.
my slides. Yeah, thank you. And if you guys have any more questions, please feel free to drop it in the chat or just yell out at me. The rest of the slide, I'm just going to go through some things that we thought would be interesting to see drones used in education for. So it's a really tangible way for students to experience a lot of their academic content they're already learning. Obviously, things like geography. What better than from learning it in a textbook to go into the sky and see your local geography? Um, Also, things like physics and math, real easy applications there. But there's also a lot of tools if you follow the links below. The Edutopia link especially has some interesting ways that you can use it in social studies and language arts. Kind of alluding to what Elena talked about, the aspect of storytelling, telling a story through video and having a drone be involved in that. And then of course social studies by like looking at the different historical sites around you, and capturing those and allowing students to tell their story with drones. Aside from academic content that they can learn or that can be enhanced with the use of drones, it also provides a lot of real world skills. So things like critical thinking, problem solving, preparation. If you've ever handled a drone before, you can't just go out. It's not an RC car where you can just like go out and like use the joystick and it works. There's some problem solving, some preparation involved, understanding how the drone moves and how you're going to get it to where it needs to go. So a lot of those just real world skills that they're going to need in any field. Of course, things like engineering for when things go wrong and they have to fix things. and then those photography and videography skills as well. And there are some more links in here that have some interesting resources about using drones with students on the spectrum or students with disabilities and how that can be really beneficial for them. Also, just fun things that you can do with drones. Just like you've seen those robotic competitions, there are companies and organizations coming out now with drone competitions similar to the Robot Wars. REC Foundation, it seems like, is the biggest one. I'm new to this field, but that's kind of what kept popping up. And there's a really interesting video that you can watch that's linked here. Their challenges are very real world based. So I think their 2022 challenge was something around like firefighters and types of rescue you would have to do with helicopters and things like that, but doing it on a smaller scale with drones. And so they're learning about real world careers. They're learning about these maneuvers. They're also learning about STEM, but doing it in a way that's competitive and fun and always changing. There's also a company called Drobots that has an aerial robotics league, and they do similar competitions. And I also found a lot of just local and state university challenges that were popping up. So depending where you are in the country, you can look around. I'm pretty sure UCSD has a program. I know I found one at UCLA. So smaller universities are doing their own that you could get involved in as well. And I did want to play this video because we do have plenty of time for the future of esports, which apparently is drone soccer. And I thought this was just like fascinating the way they're doing sports, competitive sports using drones. This is a very specific drone that was designed for drone soccer. And it's fairly new, but it's very interesting. So actually, let me make sure I have my sound on. I might have to stop sharing here. And let me pop that in there. Okay.
Welcome to Drone Soccer, an exciting new educational esport. We're launching a national program. Right now, the aviation industry is facing critical shortages in aircraft production, mechanics, engineers, and pilots. We want to make high-paying aerospace careers accessible to all students. Drone soccer is a full-contact team sport played with flying quadcopter drones. It was first invented in South Korea and is now an official international sport of the World Air Sports Federation. Drone soccer is played inside a netted arena for safe, dynamic gameplay that fits inside any school.
It's just a great introductory program to get involved with aviation as a whole.
We're working hard to build a national youth sports program that immerses students in aviation. But before all of this, we had to design a professional-grade drone that was suitable for World Cup play and the needs of the modern engineering classroom. It had to be affordable, durable, and completely repairable. We spent a year playtesting with teachers and students to get it right.
We've been doing drones for about 4 years and struggling to understand what ties it all together, and US Drone Soccer just delivered it in one perfect little neat classroom package for us.
This is the Saker DS200 drone soccer ball. Made with high-performance drone racing hardware by leading manufacturer iFlight RC. A carbon fiber chassis, injection molded cage, and no need for soldering. We've also sourced market-leading products from remote controls, tools, batteries, chargers, everything needed to get started in the sport.
All right. So I just thought that was super cool. Not only soccer, but also that engineering aspect. So they have to build the drones, they have to repair the drones, they have to learn the physics of flying for the drones for the soccer to win the soccer game. And I just thought that was like a very new and up and coming thing that I would share with you guys. Let me go back to my slides. That's pretty much it for me. If you guys have any questions, but I will Oh, actually some really important things. So barriers and concerns, and this is what we're hearing from teachers across the board when we talk about drones, is the costs. So that soccer system that you saw has a very hefty upfront cost. However, once you have it, you can see that they've used really innovative materials that make it pretty sustainable. And after that initial cost, there's not much cost after that. But the sustainability of your program is something you want to consider. Also, the expertise. So that's where programs like Elena's are great, where you can get that expertise, that training up front, so you can feel comfortable doing this with students and training students. But again, within the classroom, it's not quite as high level as those commercial pilots. It's just really getting kids interested in it. But also the safety, ethics, and privacy, which Elena spoke about. You're not allowed to fly over people unless you are certified and you have waivers in addition to that. So it's a good time to have a conversation with kids about the ethics of drones and the privacy concerns that come along with it, and also how to do it safely. So just some things to consider if you're starting your own drone program. Definitely you want to know the rules. So as Elena shared, there's lots of rules out there for what you want to use it for. And to be honest, I'm not sure I got everything right, but I'm taking this off of the FAA.gov website. So you can go down a giant rabbit hole on that website, depending on how you want to use the drones. But Elena gave us a lot of useful information. And then there are apps out there, if you click on this before you fly, that can help you. There's several apps that can help you locate safe, legal space to fly outdoors. But also with those co-drones or like the soccer drones, those can all be done indoors too, which is a great place to start with students if you're just trying to get them interested in drones, if you're using it to ignite those STEM fields. All right, and that's pretty much it for me. Again, these are our links for our different networks and for our summit coming up that I hope to see many of you at. And if you guys have any questions, we'll stay on. We're about 20 minutes early, which is great for a Tuesday when I know most of you are getting ready for spring break. But let me see the chat. Yes, you'll definitely get the link emailed to the presentation, and then Sandra will also send out the recording. Oh, and there's a national championship for drone racing next month locally. Awesome. Thank you, Dan. SDCOE does not currently have any curriculum. I know UCSD is developing some. I'm not sure if it's totally available yet, but we've been working with them. Also, I know Elena does some partnering with districts to offer curriculum and training. But as far as SDCOE, no, we don't have a packaged curriculum for drones just yet.
Also, a quick question as well is, you have a drone building or something at SDCOE, is that correct? I didn't know what that was about.
Yeah, so at our LVIC Innovation Center, we have an ICT lab, so it's robotics, coding, and then part of that is drones. We have like a drone course with some obstacles and some hula hoops. So that it's all indoor. But yeah, that's an option if you want to come visit our innovation center. We definitely have some drones that could be put to use.
Who would I talk to get hold of that area?
I believe at this point, let me put their address in the chat. It's probably going to be Brian Glassroot,
Right.
who's our scheduler. And he can get you connected to any of the labs.
And do you have a list then of maybe drones you recommend for schools to start off with? Is there anything like that you have available?
I do not. Our instructor at the drone lab might have some. I know, I'm trying to think of what he uses. A lot of what I saw out there was the co-drones. That seems to be like really bundled for education. Elena, I don't know if you know any you wanted to share.
Yeah, I can actually drop in a link that we have on our website that it kind of explores beginner, intermediate, and advanced drones. Some of those drones are a few that we are working with schools to offer. So I think the Tello is a really cheap one, easy to use indoor, but if you're looking to explore more of the use cases of photography, cinematography, inspections, then I'd lean into more of the like the minis, the DJI Mavic minis. But hopefully the link I just shared gives you a little bit more details on what is out there. Also happy to, if you guys are working with a specific price range, you can email me and I can send you over some recos.
All right, and if there's no other questions, it was great to have you all here. We'll send out all the resources and hope to see you either tomorrow for our Bitmojis or maybe next month for some of our sessions next month. Thank you guys for coming.
Jessica, do you have time to stay on?
Yeah.